I'm glad you're joining us and tuning in to our devotional today. It's called Faith Set Up. And so one of the things I wanted to share is I've got this, it's a picture and it has a poem with it in my room, and it's right above the bed. So it's the first thing that I see in the morning and the last thing that I see before I go to bed. And the scripture that we're going to be talking about today from Matthew chapter 9, is this particular scripture depicted. So this is the scripture from Matthew 9, verses 20 through 22. Just then a woman who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak. She said to herself, "If I only touch his cloak, I will be healed." Jesus turned and saw her. "Take heart, daughter," he said, "your faith has healed you." The drawing and the poem that goes with it is called "One Touch is Enough." And I want to ask you today to think about, have you ever been so desperate for the healing that only God can provide? This goes beyond physical trial or physical healing. It could be healing of a certain circumstance or healing of a relationship or something else. It doesn't have to be a physical ailment for this particular type of healing. Have you ever been so undone that you knew that God was your only hope? I would love to just offer you some encouragement today. I wanted to share Anthony's poem that he wrote about the particular circumstance. I just really love his artist and his creativity through the drawings and through the poems. So I hope that it may be some encouragement for you today. So here it is. He looked at her and said, "Who touched me?" Even then she tried to go unnoticed. She was conditioned to do so by way of her issue, to stay in the shadows, to stay unseen. Jesus didn't ask who touched me because he didn't know. He wasn't about to allow this woman to be healed just in a passing moment. He looked at her and asked, "Who touched me?" He was about to make her the very center of his attention. This is a painful process. As we live full of shame for our issues, we would rather sneak in and sneak out of the crowd, to hide our insecurities in a crowd of obscurity, to reach for his blood while hiding ours. The healing of her body required faith. The healing of her identity required exposure. To come into the light of his affection while he melts the shadows of shame. This isn't about her being better than she used to be, and it's not about less pain. It's about being whole. It's not simply about the removal of her suffering, but the bestowing of her identity. So when Jesus locks eyes with her and asks, "Who touched me?" it's not because he doesn't know. He is asking if she knows. For her issue may be of blood, but so is the healing. For her identity has been relegated to her affliction, but by way of one touch, it would be restored by his affection. For her blood spoke shame. His blood speaks her name. Who touched me? You have my attention. What is your name? Full of fear and trembling at his glory, she falls down before him. I was the one who touched you. Full of joy in the midst of a crowd of people's attention, he centers in on the one's intention. Daughter, your faith has made you well, and my gaze has made you whole. Her faith led to her healing. It's a powerful message, and I love the artwork. I'm going to put a picture of it in the comments so you can see the drawing that he has done of this scenario from the scriptures. It is a powerful message and a powerful choice to believe in this power and in this healing that only Jesus can do. One touch is enough. So today's devotional challenge is to pray, one touch is enough. You know what area of your life needs that desperate healing, one touch of Jesus Christ, and maybe it's multiple areas. Would you spend time with God praying this earnestly? Do you believe one touch is enough? Would you go to him? I want to give a quick reminder that so this lady in this situation here that touched Jesus, it says that she'd been bleeding for 12 years. So I think sometimes it's easy in the short term to believe in the one-touch healing of Jesus. But maybe you're in a long-term situation where you've been at this for years and you've asked for years. Do you still believe that one touch is enough? Are you still praying earnestly? Are you latching on to Christ's one touch? I hope this was encouraging to you today. Again, I'm going to put this in the chat and try to link Anthony's information too, because he does great work. We have some other things by him, but just really beautiful artwork depicting the Spirit, depicting Jesus in different situations. Truly beautiful. But I hope this was encouraging to you today, my friend, and I'm going to be praying for you and for anyone that may be watching for your own one-touch healing moment with Jesus.